For officers and non-commissioned members alike, life in the Canadian Navy is unlike any other form of national service. Rich with maritime adventure, close-knit camaraderie, global travel, physical fitness, and professional growth.
At sea and on land, Navy men and women serve in uniquely demanding roles and face life-changing challenges every day. Highly trained and proudly dedicated, Canada's sailors embrace the responsibilities of a modern fighting force in a dangerous world, dedicated to peace, yet always ready for the sudden flash of combat on, over, or under the sea.
After basic military qualification, non-commissioned Navy recruits move on to the Canadian Forces Fleet School in Esquimalt, British Columbia, or Halifax, Nova Scotia, for naval environmental training. A 5-week introduction to seamanship, onboard watchkeeping, firefighting, and emergency procedures, and the history and organization of the Canadian Navy.
After that, you'll move on to your specific trade training in either Halifax or Esquimalt before being assigned to your first ship. That could mean a full year of apprentice training in communication electronics or naval weapons systems at the Naval Engineering School in Halifax, or sharpening your sonar or engineering skills in Esquimalt.
Whatever trade you select, you can be certain that your training will match or exceed the highest civilian standards, giving you a huge advantage should you choose to re-enter the workforce when your naval service is complete.
Following basic military officer qualification, new naval officers also go through naval environmental training in either Esquimalt or Halifax. Naval operations officers then head to the Naval Officer Training Center at Esquimalt. Most will spend at least a year at the NOTC, combining classroom and simulator work with time aboard ship, plus an additional year or more of on-the-job and at-sea proficiency training in Halifax before they're ready to report to the bridge or operations room of a warship in action. Naval technical officers head to the Canadian Forces Naval Engineering School in Halifax, where they are provided detailed instruction in the theory, application, operation, maintenance, and management of the complex engineering systems in the Navy. This is followed by an at-sea, on-the-job training period on board a Canadian warship, where this engineering training is put into practice.
For all Navy personnel, the goal of land and shipboard training is to serve as part of a self-contained and self-sufficient team of leaders, specialists, technicians, colleagues, and friends, ready to deploy to any port for any purpose in any part of the world.
When you sail, even as a brand new ordinary seaman, you can find your ship going to the Persian Gulf. You can find your ship going to NATO, which means you're going to all sorts of ports all over the world. And now increasingly, what most people are finding is that they're going out and they're going on a ship that's going on anti-piracy patrols. So right after you just finish your course, suddenly you're out there and you're saving lives.
Once assigned to a destroyer, frigate, submarine, or supply ship, you'll become part of a tightly knit crew of men and women who work and live together on board wherever the ship sails. That could mean coastal patrols enforcing Canadian sovereignty, search and rescue missions off the Canadian coast, delivering humanitarian assistance to the scene of a natural disaster, multinational NATO and coalition training exercises, anti-submarine and anti-piracy patrols, or supporting air and land combat elements of the forces wherever they may be deployed.
When you first get on there, obviously you're blown away. It's like, I'm on a warship, this is very cool. Your first tours and stuff, I mean, your eyes are popping out of your head, learning all these new things.
Every so often, I'll be on the bridge at sea doing a fire X, where they're firing off the main gun.
IROD, 5 salvos, engage!
Or you're operating the 50 cal, and I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, I actually get to be here, and I'm actually, I'm actually being a part of this, and it seems so amazing.
Officers and non-commissioned members alike must be ready for anything that might confront them, often in difficult sea states and extreme weather conditions, thousands of kilometers from home, with no resources to call on but their own training, leadership, supplies, and skills.
Send RAF team forward engine room to attack fire and forward engine room.
Copy.
Daily life at sea combines periods of intense activity, constant training, and physical work, with leisure hours in the fitness facilities, crew lounges, and in your quarters. Typically, your day will be broken into shifts or watches. For example, you could work a 7-hour watch and then have 7 hours to yourself, followed by a 5-hour watch and then 5 hours to yourself. Schedules vary from ship to ship and depend on your specific job.
All crew members take part in cleaning, maintenance, and emergency drills and can be called on at any time for firefighting and damage control response, man overboard situations, and mission-specific assignments that could include replenishment at sea, boarding parties, fire! And sea-to-air or ship-to-ship combat. On board ship, you'll sleep in common quarters called messes. Each sailor has his or her own bunk and locker, and there are shared shower and laundry facilities. Officers sleep and work in shared cabins, usually with one other officer. There are 3 locations on board where sailors have their meals and socialize. 1 for junior ranks, 1 for chiefs and petty officers, and 1 for officers known as the wardroom. The food is hearty and plentiful, and meals are served at a variety of times during each day to ensure that crew members on watch also get a chance to eat.
When you're at sea, you'll be able to keep in touch with friends and family back home with daily access to email and regular opportunities to call home via satellite telephone.
Most ships are at sea for periods of a month at a time, but naval deployments can last for 6 months or longer. These tours vary according to the size and mission of your ship, your specialized trade, and the requirements of Canada's international commitments.
You'll get to visit the world's great seaports and capitals, meet and work with crews from many nations, and learn to love a lifestyle that no other career can match.
I would say that my experiences have exceeded my expectations when it comes to the Navy. I've visited over 20 countries around the world. I've spent time off the coast of Africa delivering food to impoverished people in Somalia. I've done all kinds of interesting experiences both in a combat role and in a humanitarian role, and that's in just a short time.
In the 4 short years that I've been in, I've traveled all around the world. I've made lasting friendships with people from all over the country and internationally. I've fought piracy in the coast of Somalia. I've been involved with search and rescue operations. I mean, it's just amazing what I've been able to do. When your ship is returned from duty and is alongside in your home port, you'll live in your own residence or in accommodations on base while enjoying the world-class recreational, educational, medical, dental, and other services that are provided for Forces members and their families wherever they're stationed. And in case you were wondering, you don't wear your uniform off-duty, unless it's your hockey uniform.
Non-commissioned members are assigned to a home port division of either Halifax or Esquimalt. This is where you'll spend most of your career and offers you an excellent opportunity to put down some roots.
Most days, personnel work a normal daytime shift on their ship, and your evenings and weekends are free, unless you're assigned to stand an overnight or weekend watch to maintain the security of your vessel. Time alongside is varied and valuable. You may be able to pursue advanced or refresher training, take care of health and personal issues, and work on ship maintenance and preparation for the next voyage, wherever in the world the mission may take you. I never could have imagined the path that this career would have brought me down, the exciting things that I've done, and I look back to 5 years ago and I don't even feel like I'm the same person.
I couldn't have dreamed of the experiences I've had, friends I've met, accomplishments. It's just been absolutely outstanding.
You may have more specific questions about enrolling as a member of the Navy and about the many opportunities available to you. Please feel free to ask any of the Canadian Forces personnel at the Recruiting Centre for help.
Whatever choice you make, the Navy is ready to welcome you, as it has welcomed thousands of Canada's finest young men and women before you, with a rich and rewarding heritage of service, adventure, and pride.